JD Vance is not the guy that they are trying to sell you. Maybe not the guy that he's tried to sell himself as for a very long time. But I read an op-ed, and the title of it was, I think this was on Business Insider. JD Vance said a dinner with elite CEOs made him realize he might end up hating what he'd become. And like this was the impetus of him getting involved in politics and realizing what he wanted to do and what he didn't want to contribute to. And I find it fascinating. He said that he was seated next to a CEO of a major hotel chain at dinner, whom he described as a caricature of a business executive, complaining about how he was forced to pay his workers higher wages. Vance told the Times the CEO then turned to him and said, well, you understand this as well as anybody. These people just need to get off their asses, come to work and do their job. And now, because we can't hire immigrants or as many immigrants, we've got to hire these people at higher wages. When recounting the moment to the Times, Vance said, the fact that this guy saw me as sympathetic to his problem and not the problem of the workers made me realize that I'm on a train that has its own momentum and I have to get off this train or I'm going to wake up in 10 years and really hate everything that I've become. And interestingly, at one point, he had supported raising corporate taxes and the minimum wage and was critical of right to work policies favored by Republicans that can negatively impact unions. So you could present some of those as things that he disagrees with Donald Trump on, virtually every Republican congressman or senator, all the governors, all of that. But what is he now? Like the idea there is, I don't want to go down this train sitting with people like the CEO who don't give a damn about their workers, that just want cheap labor or whatever. Well, now he's the VP. What's the ticket? What's the platform? What's the plan? What are the policies going to be? How is he not exactly that person? And like, yeah, he took some stances before. Is he going to be pushing Donald Trump or the Republicans in the Senate to get rid of right to work or to raise the minimum wage? Like, I haven't seen any of that. Like, they call it a populist party. And yet, when have they ever pushed a policy that is good for workers and bad for CEOs? Good for regular people, working class, bad for owners. I don't know of anything.
The video will continue in just a moment, but first I have a message for you. TYT needs your help. Membership is vital to survival, so please go to tyt.com/team and become a member today.
Trump's got his let's not tax the tips, which is good for some workers.
Yeah.
But doesn't hurt the CEOs as well. So that makes it a pretty easy thing to push forward. When have they ever had to make the decision? Are we gonna go one path or the other? And they actually choose the workers. And if he's the guy who has this epiphany while talking to this blowhard or whatever, where's the evidence that that's who he is now? And not just what he was at one point before his political career rested on just lining up with Donald Trump.
Right. The where is nowhere, right? I mean, the answer to your question is nowhere. And when they talk about things that sound populist, like tax cuts, they're not talking about tax cuts to workers. They're talking about tax cuts. They're talking about corporate tax cuts. When they say that Joe Biden is gonna, if he wins again, or whoever the Democratic nominee ends up being wins, the Democrats are gonna allow that to sunset, those Trump tax cuts. Well, yeah, they're going to, and they're probably gonna put something in that would change the people that are affected by those. Those are corporate tax cuts. This is happening in a right to work state, right? This convention. There's nothing that is about workers in this party. They don't also pretend that it is. So when they had the head of the Teamsters Union out there yesterday as their keynote speaker on night one, that was somebody who was surprising to a lot of people and distasteful to a lot of people, because it is really hypocrisy. We're talking about JD Vance here, where JD Vance is going to, we're going to know if it's a good pick or not, is in a vice presidential debate, because it's only there, and maybe in some interviews, if he does any interviews that are not partisan, that people are going to ask him to answer for a lot of what John is talking about. Whether or not that will matter, whether or not those answers will endure, doesn't matter really. What's important is he's going to have to answer for what he has said in the past, and whoever his opponent is going to have to put him in the spot to do it. I've always underrated the importance of the vice presidential nominee. I still do. I still think it doesn't matter. He's going to be somebody who's going to be popular with his own party. People are going to vote for or against Donald Trump in this election. But if there are holes in what he is, and if there are people that are attracted to a small sliver of people, they're gonna hear from him. They're gonna hear that that's not the genuine article with this guy.
Thanks for watching our video. Did you know that you can support our show by becoming a subscriber? Just click the subscribe button and also ring the bell so that you get notifications when we're live or when we post new content.